36 साल का हुआ हूँ। एक बार बचपन में देखा था इतना बड़ा, फिर आज देखा है, लेकिन छोटे छोटे बहुत देखे हैं, लेकिन इतना बड़ा नहीं देखा। पानी और गैस का बहुत प्रॉब्लम है। इस साल तो बहुत जुल्म हो गया है।
पाण्याअभावी बिलकुल उपासमारीची वेळ अच्छा जवळपास याच्यावर 120 लोकांची पोटमारीची उपासमारीची वेळ आलेली आहे आणि या पाणी अभावी मच्छी
सगळं कोरडं फटफट मच्छी काय सगळं वाटोळ होऊन गेलं मच्छीच वाळून निघाणार.
Every year we hear the same story over and over again. Droughts. Ever wonder why? Let's try to break it down. Humankind has three main sources of water: rainfall, rivers, and groundwater. Let's talk about rainfall. Why is it raining so much in Kerala, Mumbai, and Assam, and raining so little in Marathwada, Kutch, and Karnataka? I'll let this guy explain it to you.
Could you talk some more about the monsoon flooding and the displacement of people in South Asia, especially Bangladesh, one of the most populous countries in the world, has been repeatedly subjected to flooding, massive flooding in recent years?
Yeah, absolutely. And so these events are not disconnected. Heat wave, drought and wildfire in Europe, unprecedented rainfall in parts of South Asia. What we're seeing, in addition to the obvious factors, and I'll just take a moment to talk about the obvious factors. A warmer planet, you're going to see more intense and frequent heat waves. That's obvious. You're going to see more intense rainfall events because a warmer atmosphere holds more moisture. So when you get rainfall, you get more of it in relatively short periods of time. Worse flooding events. Warming the ground causes more evaporation of moisture from the ground surface, so you get worse droughts. And you combine heat and drought, you get wildfires. So that's all fairly clear, and the climate models for decades have been predicting that we would see these things happen, and we're seeing them happen.
According to a research by the Institute of Physics, the Indian monsoon is set to become erratic and unpredictable, and may even fail due to climate change. We have some of the mightiest rivers in our country though. These are the Himalayas, also called the third pole because of the immense amount of ice they hold. Their melting snow feeds all the rivers in North India and our neighbors, including the Ganga, Indus, Mekong, Yangtze, Huanghe, Brahmaputra, Irrawaddy, and Salween. They provide water for drinking and irrigation to 1.5 billion people in the countries of India, Pakistan, China, Nepal, Bhutan, Vietnam, Laos, Thailand, Bangladesh, and Myanmar. I hate to be the one breaking it to you, but they are melting away. Let's hear about it from our very own Rajya Sabha TV.
Spanning 2,000 kilometers and with 600 billion tons of ice, the Himalayan glaciers supply 800 million people with water for irrigation, hydropower and drinking. But climate change is eating away Himalayan glaciers at a dramatic rate. A new study has revealed that the melting of Himalayan glaciers has doubled since the turn of the century, with more than a quarter of all ice lost over the last 4 decades. Since the year 2000, glaciers have been shrinking at an average of 0.5 meters per year, as per the study published in the journal Science Advances. For the study, scientists relied on images from the Cold War spy satellites. They compared data obtained by the spy satellites with images from modern stereo satellites to show that Himalayan glaciers have lost more than a quarter of their ice mass since 1975. Authors observed that of the total ice mass present in 1975, about 87% remained in 2000 and 72% remained in 2016. The study also asserts that rising temperatures are responsible for the accelerating loss of ice and are threatening water supplies of hundreds of millions of people downstream across much of Asia.
At 1.5 degrees Celsius of warming, we lose one third of the ice sheets. At 2 degrees Celsius, half of the ice sheets. And at 4.5 degrees Celsius, two thirds of the ice sheets. In case you haven't seen any of my other videos, we are currently at 1 degree of warming and are heading towards the worst case scenario. You cannot even begin to imagine the full scale effects of that. Ganga and all its tributaries will dry out during the summers, and the very base of our Indian civilization will melt before our own eyes. This leaves us to the last and final source of water. Go ahead and fasten your seatbelts. This is going to be rough. The first thing to know about groundwater is that it is non-renewable on the human timescale. The groundwater aquifers that we are using right now have filled over millions of years. In 2002, NASA and German Aerospace Center launched the GRACE mission. It consists of 2 satellites to monitor the changes in groundwater by observing changes in the gravitational force. In just a decade, a total of 109 trillion liters of water was pumped out of the ground in northern India. This is the story across the whole of India though. Listen to what an expert says on this.
I mean, it will be an understatement to call it serious. In my state, I've talked with farmers who have sunk 60 bore wells in just one piece of farmland that they own, and all of the 60 bore wells failing. In Marathi, there's this word called salan. Salan really means, a body with bullet wounds. So that's what's happening to the land here. It's being reduced to a body with bullet wounds, and there is no water coming from there.
According to India's own think tank, the Niti Aayog, by 2030 the demand for water will be twice of the supply, and 40% of us won't have access to safe drinking water. With that being said, I have a question for you. You may have planned to buy a house, a car, or enroll for college in the coming years. So my question to you is, what do you plan to do when the water runs out? After listening to all this, you may have resolved to save water from now. Congratulations. Let's check how much water you can save by that. A quick search on the ecosia gives us this picture. India uses 688 km cube of water for agriculture, 17 km cube of water for industrial purposes, and 56 cubic kilometer water for municipal water supply. If you plot it on a graph, it looks something like this. 90% goes to agriculture, 2.2% to industry, and 7.4% to household. So if everyone in India reduces their water consumption by half, we'd still save a total of 3.7%. This raises the question, why is Indian agriculture so much water thirsty? The answer is, we grow the most thirsty crop like rice and sugarcane in the most arid places. Why? Because the government ensures minimum buying price for sugarcane and rice. There is no incentive for the farmer to save water or to grow crops that use less water. most of the incentives for better irrigation techniques get lost on the way to farmers. On the other hand, the government spends tremendous amount of money on adverts to save water from the 7.4%. Brilliant, isn't it? In order to stop India from becoming a dry wasteland, we need these two things. Immediate steps to address the issue of water overuse and misuse, and urgent action to stop all greenhouse gases and stop climate change. At Climate Satyagraha, we want to force the government to accept the truth about climate change and take urgent steps to stop it. Please join our movement by joining our YouTube, Facebook and Twitter pages.